This is a bank around some man-made ponds in Eugene, Oregon. So I took this picture a while ago, last year in winter, I guess, and it's a very nice design with some trees and grasses and some bushes and some water and sky. It's a very simple, almost three value scene. Again, what I use the primary colors. Um, Here are the warm colors: the cadmium yellow light, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium orange, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, and then the titanium white. And then on the bottom lower part is I have phthalo green that I like to use, but then I have cerulean, and here I am using phthalo blue, and then I have the ultramarine blue. And with these colors I could practically paint get any color I need. It's a good idea actually to train oneself to use the primaries only. But again, once in a while I use any other color that I like, that simply is attractive. I'm going to start this. You could actually start this painting with any color. That is to draw, and what I want to do is just see what the composition is and put the composition on the page, on my paper. And I could use any color. In this situation, I'm using just cadmium red light. So let's take these trees over here, or bushes. These actually are the darkest dark over here. Then the horizon actually is somewhere over here. Then there are these nice yellowish grasses. And this over here is the ground. Then there's some kind of a building over here, reddish building. And over here there's some bluish or gray bushes right above the horizon line. And then right here is water. This is the pond, part of the pond. And actually what we are seeing really a reflection of the sky. This over here is the darkest area. Actually, what I can do is make it one one mass. One mass of dark. Then there are some really darks over here. And we want to be sure that these greens, the size of these grasses are larger than this, because there are two of them. And that's it. So usually in gouache, the idea is to let this dry, and it's a good idea to let certain areas dry before you go back into it. But for this video, I don't wait. I'm not going to wait for that. The reason we let things dry so that we can have really clean colors, that they won't mix. In other words, you don't stir the bottom, the bottom layer, because gouache is a soluble water, so just like watercolor, except that it's opaque. But in this situation, I don't worry about it, so I'll do my best to try and have clean colors. So I'm going to mix, I'm going to try and mix this color over here somehow, so that I could start with that and be sure that it's not dark enough and it's grayed and it will stay in the background. So I'm looking at it, it's a gray color. Suppose I make a gray color by mixing ultramarine blue and cadmium red light and maybe yellow. See if I could see what that's pretty good. I mean, it's dark, but that's okay because it's transparent, and then later on we'll be going over it anyway with opaque color. I just want to see what it looks like, and it's transparent. I might put little blue in it. I'm using a little phthalo blue in it. I might add a little white. That's it's too much blue, and it seems. But if I put a little yellow, anyway, I'm not going to dwell on this area for long. Just leave it alone. Now we come to the darks. So I'm going to make these bushes as one mass. Suppose we use the same brownish color which we used for this part, but just make it darker and with no white in it. And it has sort of more red. Just use it as a mass. There are some branches over here which we can put later on, which really are nice. But I'm going to put this dark area over here as well. See, this is too dark compared to that. What I really want, this part of it to be the dark. I might add even alizarin to it. I'm going to make some kind of brownish color for this, for the ground over here. This is somewhat light, but that's okay. I'm going to just leave it as a color area, you know. Then I could darken part of it. Now the thing to do is worry about this. This is too dark over here. I mix the same colors actually, but lighten them a little bit. I might put a little more blue in this. Okay, so what I need to do now is darken this ground. This has sort of dried greens in the, you know, grasses, I guess dried grasses. So there are some green colors in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the grasses over here. Let's put the dark areas of these grasses. I'm going to try and make this over here, this bush or grasses, clump of grasses, lighter than this one. Now, what I need to do is just figure out what I'm going to do with the sky. The sky and the water they have to be, these areas, sky and the water, have to be a very light grayish, uh, sort of, this is a gray blue, bluish gray. And the top part, the sky itself, it looks like it has pink color in it. So I'm going to paint the sky with some kind of, just put some kind of pink, actually with a little yellow. I might add just a touch of blue, just little. Especially this area behind these bushes, behind these branches. And more yellow in this area over here, lower area above this brush. The water, I'm going to have this like cerulean blue, but then I need to gray this. And as it goes higher, it really reflects the sky. I'm going to see if I could lighten the grasses. Especially in this area. And have more greenish here on the lower part, and then it's green in this area. Always we need to have a cool and warm colors. For interest, because that's actually what we see in nature. There are some greens in this area, but not. They are more grayed. I'm going to see if I could lighten this ground. With gouache, as we know, the darks, when you paint them, they look fine, but when they dry, they will get lighter and the lights get darker. So the idea is to keep that in mind, and that's sort of like the difficulty in that we can find in painting gouache. So we might end up, having to adjust things. One good thing about gouache too is that you can paint dark over light, light over dark, which is not usually a good idea with transparent watercolor. I mean, it's not a good idea to paint with transparent watercolor to paint light over dark. Like I was saying before, I want this to show behind these bushes, these mass of twigs, whatever they are over here, to show some of them to show behind these trunk of trees. They look okay now, but they might end up lighter after. This, I think, what they call is scumbling. So you are putting scumbling a dark over a light area. Which is a nice way to lose an edge. I put little red into the green. There's some really dried. I think I need a little more red in it. Put some of these dried twigs over here. when you add white, because it's cool color, it whatever it is you are painting, somehow it recedes because it's a cool color, and it's a gray. It grays things. So the idea is to have the vivid colors in the foreground or up front, and as they recede, they get cooler and they get grayer. I'm trying to show these in the back behind these trees. On the other hand, I don't want to lose the feel of these branches over here. To get this lacy effect of these grasses, a person needs to just, at the periphery, put an impression of them, and that be more than enough. Just at the edges. I think this is getting close to what I need to put in the sketch. You can get carried away doing more and more and more, and all that you do is sort of defeat the purpose of the sketch. There's always, with this kind of busy type of a painting, always the temptation to keep putting twigs and this and that until you lose the whole idea behind the sketch. See, I usually say that and still keep fiddling around with it. One thing probably I need to do is just have these darks in this area accentuated, sort of. Okay, that's enough.